Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Amplid Morning Glory. This board features Amplid's cruise camber, which is a more abrupt camber that tapers out and becomes more mellow as it gets closer to the contact points, with a little bit of rocker in the nose. So basically, more aggressive camber between the feet, a little bit more mellow underfoot. Still makes for that load and pop of traditional camber, and then you got that rocker in the nose, which is going to give you a better powder float and ease of entry in and out of turns. I rode this board at Arapahoe Base on a day that started off with overcast skies and some wind, and then it eventually became sunny and bluebird. There was fresh snow off the run, light dusting of snow on top of the runs with perfect corduroy underneath, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board has what can only be described as a slightly past middle of the road directional freeride flex with clearly defined flex points. Sure, the nose is a little bit softer, and then you get your stiffer section from outside the inserts through, but there are two clearly defined flex points in this board. You have just inside the front bindings and just outside the back one. These are the two key spots where this board will have the most flex. The rest of it is pretty much uniform and you can expect it. There's a little bit of torsional flex, nothing major. Now, with the stability of this board, you have the camber, the flex, the shape, all coming together as one to work in conjunction. So what does that mean for you, the rider? What that means is you have a board that is super stable. At speeds, you don't feel anything. Sure, you get a little chatter in the nose. It never resonates back underfoot. And in rutted out terrain, it plows through everything in its path with ease. It's like driving a muscle car over a garden hose. You might feel something, but you're not sure quite what it was, and then you get out and realize it was nothing at all. That's it with this board. It plows through everything in its path with just this audacity to just be like, I'm crushing you and you're gonna die, and that's it. It lets you know that this thing will not have chatter, and I can vouch for it because I rode it. With the camber profile on this board, you do have to load it up to get snap, and while it's not the snappiest board out there, it's predictable and it's easy to engage. So you can launch off a cat track gap, hit a pillow popper, not really worry about it. You're gonna get up in the air. You're not gonna launch to the moon, but it's got more than enough snap to get the job done and get over anything in your path or boost off of anything in your path. You would think with the directional shape of this board, the rocker in the nose, that it would be very easy to just pop a 180 and land in a butter. You would be wrong. Yes, you would be wrong. With the shape of this board and the flex, it forces you to really leverage yourself way out on the nose to get it to engage, and it fights you the whole time. It's one of those boards that you can just feel that rebound. It wants to pull you back down. It doesn't want you to press into it. And with the tail, you got such a small area back here. It's coming down on the end of that camber section. You got to put all your weight into it. A lot of speed and just wheelie back is really what you're going to be doing with this. Carving with this board is where it sticks out from the pack of other boards in the same category. It has a very smooth and fluid roll from edge to edge. It's not nimble, it's not quick, it's smooth and fluid. It has power. Now what's nice about this board are those flex points that I talked about earlier, right inside the front foot and right outside the back foot. This changes the power dynamic of how you carve with this board. So when you roll it over on edge, you're engaging off that front foot. The second you hammer it inside that front binding, you can really drive that carve. And then you got this flex point that isn't as noticeable as that front one, but it allows you to really push off that tail and get that flex to slingshot you out of a turn, to give you that drive to just push through and give you more speed out of that turn. This board rails carves, I mean rails, and it feels so stable underfoot. You feel like you're just locked in and you can cut through anything in your path. Short, tight, quick turns, long, hard, drawn out ones, medium, mellow carves, it doesn't matter. This board just excels at all of them. Who's this board for? The resort ripping powder carver. Right off the bat, this board didn't wow me. it was one of those boards that I was like, okay, it's a snowboard. I can go carve with it. I can smash through heavy POW if I have to with it. And then as the day progressed, and I started just pushing this thing further and further and further out of my comfort zone to its limits, that's where it started to shine. This was a board that you really have to drive hard, but you don't have to bring your A game to. It's better if you do, but you don't have to. It's subtle, it's nuanced with how it turns and how it reacts in snow. You notice that right away as you progress through the day when you go from pristine powder to starting to get tracked out powder to full-blown lumpy powder. And then when you're on a groomer, it's the same thing. You notice right away that, yeah, okay, you're laying it over, you're swooping your turns, and now it's starting to get choppy, you're pushing in a little bit harder, you're pushing it a little bit further. That's what this board does well. It's a board that cuts through the chop, the crap, everything in between, and wants to just stay at a consistent level. It's not gonna be the board for everyone, just like it's not the board for me. This wouldn't be my go-to powder board, but for certain days, it does stick out. And it does such an exceptional job of what it offers that people shouldn't sleep on this. Comparable boards, the Nitro Banker, the Rome Ravine Select, the Telos DST. Binding recommendations, the Rome Black Label, the Now Select Pro, the Bent Metal Actions. This has been my review of the Amplid Morning Glory. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you gonna buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.